This is a short bite episode of Homeschool Together. Hello and welcome to Homeschool Together Short Bite Edition. Thanks so much for joining us. Ariel, I have to confess, last night I took the cat's medication. Don't ask me, meow. Don't ask me, meow. Meow. Meow.
It's one of those, get it? Because I'm looking at you like, we don't have a cat. I don't understand. It's too late for this joke.
It's game schooling time on the Homeschool Together podcast. We are reviewing the Rat-A-Tat-Cat. Rat-A-Tat-Cat.
Rat-A-Tat-Cat by Gamewright.
I always get it wrong.
This is a card game. This is a classic, actually. If you look this up on Amazon, we have a link down below if you want to check it out. This is very, very highly reviewed, and we just had not gotten around to purchasing this one, but we finally picked it up at our favorite homeschool consignment store, Homeschool Potpourri in Kirkland, Washington, which was great. Anyways, it is a card game for 2 to 6 players. Mm-hmm. This is ages 6 and up. We did play this with our 6-year-old.
Absolutely, our 6-year-old. If your learner has basic understanding of numbers 1 to 10, and what numbers are larger than the other, they can easily play this game. So they basically have to be able to tell numbers 0 through 9, and that's about it.
Right. So the premise of this game is that you have 4 cards. Each player has 4 cards in front of them, and you are able to look at the 2 outer cards, the first and the 4th card,
and
so you know what they are.
And they're face down.
Yep, they're all face down. You're able to look at those. You know what they are, but you don't know what the middle ones are. And the goal through a series of drawing, you have no hand. So you draw one card and you decide what to do with that one card. Do you want to replace one of the cards in front of you or not? And the goal is to try to get the lowest score. So you know what your outer ones are. Mm-hmm. You don't know about your inner ones. So you might have to take some gambles there.
And the tough thing is you can't look ever again. Like you can't.
Right. You have to remember.
And there's a little bit of memory aspect there.
Right. And you have to also be watching what the other players are picking up, because what you're doing is you're swapping out cards. You want to get the lowest score possible, but the game doesn't end in a conventional way. There's no time limit to the game. The game ends when one person says they're ready to call it.
We're ready to score. Yeah.
And then everyone else gets one more turn, and then they score. So you kind of have to be paying attention to what other cards did other people pick up and put down. Yeah. And then there's a couple of special cards, one that would let you peek at one of those 2 inner cards that you don't get to look at otherwise. There's one where you get to take one of your cards and swap it with one of your opponent's cards, which can be fun.
The funny thing is you can't look. Yeah, you got to
it's got to be blind.
Oh, this one's a rat card. I know I want to swap that for that person.
Right. So cards 6 and up are rats, and 5 and below are cats. So that's what the Rat-A-Tat-Cat. But they're really clever drawings too. They're cute.
Very cute.
And so you're having to what's great about the game schooling aspect of this is that you're using mental math to continue calculating your score in your head. You're like, okay, so I've got this and he's got at least this, because I've seen the cards that you can't see the card that they draw off the pile, but you can see any cards that they pick up from the discard. So you can it's one of those normal game mechanics where you can either pick up from the discard pile or you can pick up from the deck. And so if they picked up from the discard pile,
they got a 5 or a 4.
Right. You kind of know where they're at. So you're mentally calculating the scores you know of for your other players, and you're trying to remember what you have. So there's a lot of hidden math in this game. Yep. But it's very simple math. I mean, it's not too complex. And then when you finish, whoever wins, there's a couple of ways you can either say, well, we're going to play X amount of rounds, and whoever has the lowest score after you would score with whatever you total up all your cards. So whoever has the lowest one wins, but you would take each of your scores and put them down, and you could play we're going to play 5 rounds, and whoever has the lowest score. You could also put a time limit on it. We're going to play for half an hour, and then whoever has the lowest score. Or there's a variant where you can play to 100 or even play to 200. First person to cross that loses, and
vice versa. You can go the other direction.
And then you start whittling down people.
Yeah, you can also go from 100 down to 0. The first person to cross 0. So if we do this when we're playing dominoes, and what we're doing is we're always keeping score, and I have my learner tallying up the score. And what's cool about it is a lot of times these numbers get more than you end up having to add more than 10, right? Mm-hmm. So you have to do kind of a carrying the 1 and do it all. So if you're doing some basic vertical addition and you're practicing carrying the 1 or borrowing a 10, those type of activities, this is great for that because they're having to just sum all these scores and do all this math to keep a tally on the score. And a lot of times my learner at the beginning, when we started doing this, like we started playing dominoes a long time ago. And she's like, Daddy, am I doing math here? I go, no, you're keeping score. That's super important. So you can bring those additional skills in there, not just playing the game and doing strategy, but also doing the math math practice there.
So they bring this up in the game officially. It's just that you would add scores to get to 100. But what you're saying, I think, is really important. And we do this with a lot of games, which is we can switch the scoring mechanic to subtraction instead. Same, 6, 1, half dozen, but it gives them a different skill to practice. So you can think about that trick with a lot of different games where you could, set an upper score and then everybody is subtracting off of that. So you have to safely set an upper score so that you don't get into negative numbers unless you intend to. And then that's another thing you could do. But it's a nice way to practice addition and subtraction depending on, what you need to work on with your learner.
Absolutely.
So this is a really fast game. We played it in 5 minutes. It says 20 minutes on here. I would think
I think that's with the multiple rounds.
Right. When you've got multiple rounds, but each game is like a 5 minute. If you're looking for a super fast game, this is a great one to do. Includes a little bit of mental math, and it's from Gamewright, so you know that it's going to be good. It's good quality and it's well thought out. So check this out. Down the links in the show notes. If this is a game you want to pick up, please head there and help support the podcast and check out all the reviews on this. So I was looking this up to get a picture of it, and it was like 3,000 reviews, 5 stars. I was like, yep, well, everyone agrees with us. This is a great game. So check it out.
Don't ask me how.
Oh, it's not any better now.
Don't ask.
Don't encourage him, you guys.
Don't ask me how.
I got it. It just took a little while.
Thanks so much for joining us today and making us a part of your homeschool journey. Please engage with us on social media. Join our Homeschool Together podcast group on Facebook and find us at Homeschool Together Podcast on Instagram. We'd love to hear your feedback, questions, and recommendations. Until next time.
Happy homeschooling!